Hello everyone, and welcome back to Next Gen Competition. We are here for round 8 of Season 6 here in Project IndyCar for the FunnyF1 Grand Prix de Monaco. As you may have guessed from the title, we are racing at Monaco today, the first time Project IndyCar will be racing there, and it should well be quite an exciting day. As you can see, practice has just finished, and it was a brilliantly dominant session from championship contender Adam Richardson, as he finished nearly 4 seconds ahead of his rivals. However, that was a wet to dry practice session. The weather forecast for qualifying is dry, however there could well be rain for the race, so it could be more important then. So let's go in to qualifying now. And we're loading in here to the qualifying session, and we'll be keeping an eye on the driver that top practice, that of course being Adam Richardson, a driver looking to try and fight for the championship this season. He missed last week's race, so he has got some work to do. However, after that practice session, I think it's more than fair to say he's got a good chance at gaining some points here today. So he makes his way out of the pit lane now and onto the racetrack. Give you a quick update of the championship standings going into today's event. It is Aston Lewis who leads the way in the driver's standings. He currently sits 17 points ahead of Evan Dalton and Scott Sandover, who sit equal in second place. Behind them it is Adam Liu, who is 51 points off the championship lead, so just over a race win's worth of points. And then comes Adam Richardson in 5th, 220 points, that puts him 58 points off the lead. So again, whilst he's more than the race been off the championship lead, he certainly, with a good couple of races, can eat into that margin significantly and begin to close up the fight, especially as Scott Sandover, as I say that, he has joined the lobby. Wonderful to see that. I was going to say, as he's not here, he'll drop around the championship, but he is here, so he'll be scored. So no matter what happens, he'll have a decent day, at least, and score some points today. Yes, looking behind Adam, we do have Jonathan Mills, also mathematically looking quite good, only 65 points off the championship lead, which doesn't sound great, but just over a race win isn't that bad realistically. We're not even at the halfway point of the season yet. And I mean, if you're a MotoGP fan, you'll have seen in 2022 that, you know, championship leads can swing just a lot throughout a season. So yeah, we'll be looking at everyone realistically throughout the season. We're not going to rule out anyone until we get very, very late in the season. As now we see Adam Richardson starting his first flying lap. He's in the wall extra turn one. That's not going to help him. It was only a brush, so he shouldn't have lost too much time, but it certainly wouldn't have been the ideal line as he comes up towards the top of the hill heading into Casino Square. You see these Indy cars fighting their way through this circuit, doing all they can to just try and keep it on the road, and of course being the number one priority in these conditions. We'll also have a quick look at the Teams Championship whilst we're beginning this qualifying session, and it's Jonathan Mills racing. Those drivers that race for that team are Jonathan Mills himself. We also have Aston Lewis and Kyle Albert. They're the 3 drivers currently leading the Teams Championship by 49 points, ahead of Fast Formula, who have Scott Sandover and Thomas Pierpont driving for them, with Dalton Autosport and Phoenix Motorsports both being equal in 3rd position. Both of which also just 3 points behind Fast Formula Racing, so very close in the Teams Championship as well. So we'll look back at this qualifying session though, as we see now Adam Richardson making his way through into the 3rd section lap, through the simple section now, and out towards the final couple of corners. He brakes heavily into the Rascasse corner, and now towards Antinose. He gets into the wall again. It's not going to help him, but a brush, like I say brush, it was a pretty solid hit, but a hit like that isn't going to lose you too much time. It'll definitely cost you a few attempts, but it's not like he's absolutely destroyed the wall and knocked it down, as we now see there. He goes 1.8 seconds quicker than Jonathan Mills, and Evan Dalton jumps in there in 2nd place, just 1.2 seconds off, and then Thomas Pierpont just over a second behind there, now in that 2nd position. We'll look now. Kyle Albert, he has, I believe, just started an outlap with Tyler Davison here, starting a flying lap now. Who else is there? Ducky, that is, of course, Noel Karen. He has just popped himself into 5th place. Aston Lewis, he's coming across the line now. What will he be able to do? He'll put himself into 6th place, so a tough first lap there for him. Look back to the top though. Adam Richardson makes his way through the famed Monaco tunnel as he makes his way around this racetrack. Now towards the Nouvelle chicane, braking heavily, gets it into a little bit wide of the first apex, clobbers the second apex, nicely done. Narrowly avoids the barrier on exit as now he turns into the terrifying corner that is to back. Makes his way through there quite nicely now into the high-speed two-impulse section. You need all the downforce you can get through here. Is now turning right through the tightest second part of it. Gets into the wall again, but brushes it off. Keeps the car going in the right direction now as he heads into Raskas way too deep into the wall. That's going to cost him a lot of time there. As he makes his way through Antonino's now onto the main straight, and it's hard to tell what this lap's going to be compared to his previous ones, but it could really go either way. He is down by just under a tenth there, so indeed it could have gone either way with how close that lap time was. Now, when I look further in the order, we've got a couple of drivers setting times, and then we see a big improvement there from Thomas Pierpont, who is going to jump 6 tenths ahead of Adam Richardson. He is now on provisional pole position here at this point in the session. A couple of other drivers just finishing their laps now. We've got Tyler Davison, who's just jumped up into third place, 1.6 seconds off, sorry. And Adam Liu, whereas he's making his way out towards the final couple of corners now. And what will he be able to do on this lap? The winner last time out, spoiler alert, sorry, but Adam Liu, the winner last time out, making it back-to-back wins for Phoenix Motorsports in Europe. He will be looking to try and put in a good race today. He qualifies all the way up to second, just 2 tenths off of the provisional pole time. And it's Monaco, so qualifying is going to be very important, especially with the chance of rain. The chance of rain, if it does come before the start of the race and leads to a wet start, so we'll have a safety car start, because at Monaco we can't really risk a standing start in wet conditions in an IndyCar. You can probably understand why that is, even if it does perhaps make it slightly less exciting for the racing, at least for the first lap. It'll mean more drivers are in it for the long term. As we look back up to the front, we see Adam Richardson. He's making his way out of the final corner now. What will he do on this lap? Making his way down towards the start-finish line. Where will he put himself? He improves by 2 tenths, but it's not enough. Still in third position, 3 tenths off of the cars ahead of him. Thomas Pierpont, he's coming through the final corner now, making his way down the main straight. What can he do? And he will not be able to improve there. 3 seconds off his previous best. We'll now look to the next driver in this close fight for pole at the moment, and that is Adam Liu. He's improving by 2 tenths so far on this lap. If he can get a good final sector together, he could well put himself on top here provisionally. Oh, but no, he hits the wall. He hits the wall in the exit of the swimming pool section. That's a very tricky corner, one of the hardest corners around this racetrack. Although I say that knowing all of the corners here are very, very hard, and that will prevent him from being able to improve this time around. Adam Richardson now making his way down through the tunnel. We've got Tyler Davison. He's just finished an out lap. I'm guessing they're 17 seconds off the pace. Evan Dalton, championship contender. He's making his way through the hairpin now. Aston Lewis, 8 seconds off the pace so far. Is he on a flying lap at the moment? We'll have to wait and see. He is the championship leader, 17 points clear of his main rivals, Evan Dalton and Scott Sandover. What can he do as he makes his way out the final corner and down the main straight? Is he on a flying lap? Will he be able to improve? He does by 3 seconds, but still remains in that 9th position. Scott Sandover, he's still in the pit lane, so it's not looking likely that he will be able to set a lap in this session. As we see, that's Kyle Albert just coming out of his pit box now in the number 27 car for Jonathan Mills Racing. As Adam Richardson, he's in the pits now. Adam Liu, he's going through the hairpin, and now we'll see. Can Thomas Pierpont improve on his previous best? He's a bit wide. Through Raskas now through the final corner. Anthony Nogues, he makes his way down the main straight. Will this be an improvement for Thomas Pierpont? Across the line he goes, and no, down by 3 seconds. There's a car behind him though, just on the racetrack. Was that Davison? No, I believe that was Dalton. It was indeed, but he didn't manage to improve on his lap time. Liu a bit behind Davison here, so we'll look at Davison as he makes his way into the final couple of corners. Makes his way through Raskas, not been the cleanest of runs through here. He makes his way down out of Antinogues and onto the main straight here in Monaco. The curved straight, but it's really as close as we get to a straight here, and he's 2.5 tenths down in his best lap. Now we'll look back on the racetrack. We've got Richardson, he's on an out lap now. Gonna have to try and get out of the way of some people. That is Sandover out on the racetrack now, so he will get a flying lap or two in here. Davison there, we'll see him. Adam Liu, he was not able to improve on his lap time. Pierpont, he's making his way down into the chicane now, a little bit deep, all over the curb. That will most likely be a slowdown. And he was 2 seconds down anyway, so it's not going to be a good lap for him. As we see Evan Dalton, he is marginally up on his best lap, so what can he do on this attempt? Can he put himself up ahead of his teammate? Unlikely, as he put himself up into the wall through the exit to back there, but he's going to keep on pushing. Bit of damage to the rear wing, but it's only visual. It'll be perfectly fine as he makes his way through the final couple of corners now and on to the main straight. Evan Dalton out of the final corner. He's going to see Thomas Pierpont up ahead. He'll hope that he can maybe avoid any dirty air, but he's not able to improve. So we'll watch that. Adam Liu, he's making his way out of the tunnel. We've got Richardson, he's about to start a flying lap. I believe it will be his last flying lap position. Anyone starting a flying lap now will be on their last flying lap position. I believe that is Niall Caron just behind him. Richardson was indeed on an out lap. We'll look down at Niall Caron. He improves by half a second. He jumps up into 7th place. As we now have Thomas Pierpont is in the pits. He will not set another lap time, so now it's down to the rest to try and beat that time that he's put down. The time to beat is a 1:19.074. Can Liu beat it? He comes out of the final corner now. He'll have one more attempt after this, but can he improve it this time around? He comes out of the final corner, not able to do so. Richardson, he's going through the hairpin still. We've got Davison still in the first sector. Dalton going through the tunnel. Mills coming out of the chicane. No one really near the end of the lap so far, but the closest to being at the near end of the lap is Jonathan Mills. He'll be the first driver to complete their session, other than, of course, Pierpont, who is already in the pit lane. And also now it's Aston Lewis, the championship leader, will be starting 9th at best, and with a grid penalty, he may well start last today, which is obviously not what he would have wanted. As we now see Jonathan Mills out of the final corner and into the wall. A mistake in the final corner of the lap. Heartbreak for Mills. He will not be able to improve as we'll look back now. Who is the next car behind him? Often I'll try and find who is it. I don't know. Here we go. It's Evan Dalton. Dalton across the line. Doesn't look like he's improving. We will now try and find the next car. The next car is Aston Lewis. Behind him, that looks like Adam Richardson. Sorry, that's not Aston Lewis. That is Kyle Albert. He doesn't improve. Adam Richardson doesn't improve. Can Adam Liu do anything? He's looks to be stopped, so he won't be able to improve. As you look around the field here, looking for anyone that's able to improve lap time. Well, Karen's up into 6th place. Davison, he's coming out of the final corner now. He's not going especially quickly though, so it looks like this is your grid for today. Ladies and gentlemen, your pole sitter in Monaco, the most important qualifying session of the season. He's in the pit box already. Yeah, I knew he couldn't improve on that lap time. Thomas Pierpont and Fast Runner Racing are on pole for the FunnyF1 or FunnyF1 Grand Prix de Monaco, with Adam Liu and Adam Richardson, the two teammates of Phoenix Motorsports, in 2nd and 3rd on the grid. And now the question is, what will the weather be doing? Let's have a quick look at the grid again here as we look for it. Thomas Pierpont on the pole position ahead of Adam Liu and then Adam Richardson. Tyler Davison is in 4th ahead of his teammate and championship contender Evan Dalton. Then we have Niall Kerrin, the rookie, in his 2nd start. Jonathan Mills will start 7th. Kyle Albert, he's still in his rookie season, not many starts to his name. He'll be starting 8th. Aston Lewis with a grid penalty, so does Ducky. Actually come to notice that. He will start last, and Scott Sandoval without a lap time will start 9th for the FunnyF1 race, FunnyF1 Grand Prix de Monaco. So used to last week when it was the FunnyF1 Racing, but no Grand Prix. Anyway, let's go to the race, shall we? What will be happening when we get to the racetrack? And that's what we feared. Rain falling here over the Grand Prix circuit. So we will indeed have a safety car start. So we'll have basically a formation lap for the first lap. Basically an extra formation lap, if you imagine that they've already done one to line up on the grid. And this should give everyone the chance to get a feel for the track. And also the fact that it will be a rolling start single file should make it a little bit safer for all the drivers, and hopefully limit the chance of incidents. Although it's Monaco in wet conditions, we're going to have some incidents, sadly. But let's just hope that we can limit what we have to put up with here today. You can see all these cars nice at the moment with all their front and rear wings attached. I'd be surprised if they all finish that way. I'd honestly be surprised if anyone finishes that way without a repair job in the pits. The drivers know. Caution for the start. Basically as if a safety car came out straight away. So yeah, it's an annoying fact that we'll have to deal with, but it's for the best, on the basis that we don't really want 10 Indy cars in wet conditions at Monaco diving into turn 1 here. Let's face it, we're league racers, we're not doing this for a living, we're not the best drivers by a long shot, but I think even if you put the world's best 10 drivers in these cars for this start in these conditions, there's a good chance not all 10 make it out the other side. So yeah, of course it's most likely the correct decision here to do. Of course we won't know what would have happened. We could have had that 1 in a million chance where it's a lovely, clean, amazing start, but at the same time we could have had the 999,999 chance of there being some sort of problem, as now the drivers are all readied up and it'll sync up for us all. The lights are coming on, you can ignore these, we won't go racing just yet, and the green is out, but we will immediately start under yellow flag conditions. Caution is out here, the field will line up single file, go at pace car speed if they can get up that high in these conditions, and they will prepare for the rolling start. Pit lane will be open, I'll let them know that. And They will also be green this time, so I'll let them know pit lane open and green this time. I won't send green this time, I won't confirm that with them just yet until we're in the final sector. Do those look like wet tyres? Should we have a look at the, let's look at chase cam, let's see. Those have got nice grooves in them, lovely to see, just to make sure there wasn't any glitches at all. Because you never know, it's always better to be safe than sorry. And the field making their way down through Mirabeau now towards the hairpin. Already got someone that's dropped off the back of the field a little bit. In the field, for the most part, it should be grid order pretty much no matter what. Of course, if someone spins on their own, that's sort of their own fault. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't know. It's such an unusual situation. So you can see there the sea to the south of France, and of course Monaco. Is that the Mediterranean Sea? Or is it the Red Sea? There's a sea there. That's what I do know. These are the insights you won't get elsewhere. It could be a completely different sea. I'm just trying to think Europe exists. I'm usually quite good at geography. You wouldn't believe it after that series of sentences. But Pierre Font will lead these guys to green flag racing. You can see them all lined up and see a bit of a spray there, but nothing too bad. So I imagine the drivers at the back end of the field are probably feeling slightly different about the spray, but from a commentator's perspective, I'd say it's not too bad, and we can get ready to go racing this time around. We will be green this time here in Monaco. Ladies and gentlemen, get on your feet. You're about to see, well, something historic, because let's face it, depending on how this goes today, we could well never see this again. It's IndyCars racing in Monaco. Thomas Pierpont will make them through the final corner now. And Thomas Pierpont will lead them to green. He puts his foot to the floor, and the green flag's in the air. We are racing in the Principality of Monaco. It's a good jump already there from Thomas Pierpont, who leads them down to turn one. Braking hard, but he's wide, straight into the wall. It's a huge crash. They've all missed the first corner. We got cars all over the road. It's Jonathan Mills that's going to take the lead. It's carnage in the first corner. One car has survived. Only one car, singular. Jonathan Mills has made his way through, and unsurprisingly, the caution is going to come out here on lap 1. And oh my, what would have happened if we'd started with the grid start? Jonathan Mills is the leader here in Monaco. Adam Richardson is in second place. Evan Dalton has ended up in third. Niall Caron in fourth. Tyler Davison looks like he's having a bit of an argument with Adam Leo, who should be in fifth. Looks like Leo's on that one. And then we've got Kyle Albert, seventh. Scott Sandover in eighth. Thomas Pierpont in ninth. The pole sitter down to the back of the field. And then Aston Lewis, championship leader, is now in last place. Well, that was, I would say, unexpected. I think that was unexpected. I didn't expect that to happen. 9-car pile up in turn 1. Wow. Apologies for those looking forward to an exciting first lap to the race. Well, the drivers, the game, it all said no. We will have pit open this time because the field is relatively bunched up, and also just to save a little bit of time. Feel free to say hi in the comments, because we're going to have a lot of time to chat in the comment section in this race, I've got a feeling, with the potential cautions. Those of you that remember back in the GP2 days at Monaco, they once had a massive crash down in turn 1, big pile up. So it's a bit like that really, just, you know, they did it in the dry, we did it in the wet. Does that make us better? As Mills, from the lead of the race, is pitting. The driver, the only driver to survive that crash. He's going to come into the pits at the end of the first lap. And, well, refuel, presumably. Make sure he can refill that tank there at half fuel for the start by the looks of things. But we've got half the field pitting, half the field staying out. Now, at Monaco, track position is absolutely vital. So this is really interesting to see how this one will play out. And it is up at the front. It is Adam Richardson who leads the way, ahead of Evan Dalton and Niall Caron, ahead of Tyler Davison and Kyle Albert, rounding out the top 5 cars that have stayed out. The drivers that have pitted are led by Jonathan Mills, Adam Liu, Scott Sandover, Thomas Pierpont and Aston Lewis. Just making his way out of the pits now. We'll bring up the rear of the field and we'll watch him catch up to the back of the pack so we know when to go. Just look at the question now. Indeed, that was a very big crash. And to reply to your question, not currently, no plans, unless a spot opens up. I am considering it, off the basis of how crazy the season's been, but it's unlikely, I'd say. As we see a spin there from Aston Lewis under caution, which I think shows us just how tricky these conditions are. As we now see Aston Lewis trying to catch up to the back of the pack, but a lot of the field still not caught up yet. Adam Richardson up at the front, leading the way in to the chicane. It's very much not sure whether we'll be green this time or not yet. It's going to rely on these final three. I think those two are going to catch up based on previous experience of saying green this time too late. I don't want to risk it. So we're going to wait a second and see until we're sort of confident. I'm confident we're not going to be green this time. So we are definitely going to stand a caution here. We'll have another lap. Because Aston Lewis is half a sector behind the field, and the field is basically in the restart zone. So we will not be green this time. I think if Aston Lewis had been where those other two... I mean, even then, they probably wouldn't have caught up, actually. So, Aston Lewis... Oh, is that a pit stop? It's Niall Caron. He's dived to the pit lane. He's going to make a pit stop here. What is he doing with his car? He's going to refuel as well. Going to top it all the way up. Will there be a change of tyres for slicks? It's unlikely. And he will indeed stay on the wet tyres. Especially as it's still very clearly downpouring here. As Aston Lewis is having some difficulties, it would appear, with catching back up. Is he on slicks, perhaps? That if you're thinking, oh, look at the tyres, they're clearly wet. So there is a glitch on this game where sometimes it will show wet when they're actually slicks. I don't really know if there's a quick fix for it. So that would explain Aston's issues here with catching up to the pack. He doesn't look like he's got the world's grip at his disposal. It's an interesting one here. He's still kicking up a lot of spray, but that could again just be visual. These on slicks. Looking at the snap he had through there, unless he's hit a really, by puddle I mean lake, quite frankly. He is on slicks, which is not looking like the correct call to make here in these conditions. Quite obviously so, I believe. And it's going to be tight whether he catches up with a bit of a split in field here, back behind Scott Sandover, sorry. As these guys, top 9 all together here for this restart, and we are going to be green this time on the basis that if Aston had been on the optimal tyres, he would have caught up by now. And we can't just sit around waiting for him to catch up to the pack all day, because we'd never go green, and he would have made a master stroke of strategy on the basis that he took so long to catch up the pack, we never went green again. So we'll be green this time, sadly for him, but we can't wait all day for his tyres to work, basically. And he has almost caught up, as now we see Richardson making his way through the final couple of corners now. And we are ready to go back to green flag racing here in Monaco. He puts his foot to the floor, and we are racing again in the FunnyF1 racing. I keep saying it's just FunnyF1. The FunnyF1 Grand Prix de Monaco, and it's Richardson wide turn 1. Dalton hits the back of him. Could that get him a chance there? To the drivers behind, we've got Davison right in the pack here as well. Then it's Albert, followed by Mills. Already back up into the top 5 here as they go up through the top of the hill. Very wide there from Richardson. You can see how treacherous these conditions are. Richardson struggling to keep the car going in a straight line. He breaks down into Mirabeau and he's straight on, he's into the wall. Richardson reverses back into traffic. What is he doing? He's reversed back into the traffic. And, well, somehow he's the only driver that's come off badly from that. But Dalton now, second in the championship, is up into the lead of this race, ahead of Tyler Davison. Second last time out, looking to try and win again for the second time in his prediction IndyCar career, is up into second. And Kyle Albert, the driver who started on the front row in his rookie start at the Texas Motor Speedway, he's up into a podium position now. Could he get his first podium today? Breaking into the chicane there, you see Mills having to defend from Liu, just behind. Already the battles commencing here. And already 2 cars with problems. The default number will be at 4 for the start here today. See these drivers making their way through the racetrack. Very wide from Mills. He lost the position to Leo, and now he's struggling to keep the car on the road, quite frankly. You can see there, as we see, just behind, got the 2 Fast Formula Racing cars battling away for 6th position. Pierre Pont all over the back of Sandover, looking to try and find some grip somewhere. As then you have Niall Caron just behind the pair of them. But yeah, already at these 2 cars, based on the fact that Aston Lewis wasn't able to catch up to the restart, we'll count that as one as well. So we're at 2 cars so far here today. As we see side-by-side racing into turn 1. That could have ended badly as they go into the first corner now. Straight on it's Albert, collecting Sandover, and that will be the second caution of the day. Which now means Evan Dalton up at the front. He built up a nice lead actually there, but the caution is back out. Davison in second. Going to get a second chance here at trying to capitalise on the restart. Then comes Adam Liu, the lead driver of those who pitted, in case you're wondering on that front. Then behind him it is Jonathan Mills, second of those that pitted. Then Niall Caron, who I believe was last for the restart, or second last. He is up to 5th place, now third of the drivers that have pit. So, really interesting stuff here so far in this one. And up at the front, Evan Dalton leads the way, but already getting very low on fuel here, just 6 laps into the race. Yeah, could see fuel mileage becoming a factor, especially with all these cautions, meaning that it is a gamble on when do you pit to sort of make it work around the cautions that are most definitely going to be coming at some point here today. Pit lane might not be open this time, given that the field is still quite spread out through the back markers in particular. Where is Kyle Albert? He's stopped on track, so we will have to wait, sadly, another lap here. That will give everyone a chance to be bunched up, just so we don't take any risks with sort of people getting caught out, people missing out with the chance to pit. Once everyone has got past the pit entry, we can then announce pit lane is open, so that they're all aware for the entirety of the lap, and don't have to worry about sort of questioning will it be, won't it be, because these two at the back are struggling, as Kyle has pit whilst pit lane is closed, which probably wasn't a wise call unless he's retiring from the race, which is possible. Let's see, will he retire from the race given his crash, or is he just refueling here? As also Aston Lewis into the pits as well here, not really sure why they're doing that. Both of them have pit when the pit lane is closed, so they'll be forced to restart the back regardless now, as they make their way through the first corner. And the pit lane will, once they've both cleared it, will officially be open. And it now is. Just let them know that those two have to start at the back because of them pitting when the pit lane was closed. In case you're wondering when the pit lane closes, when we have a caution, pit lane is automatically closed, which then means that the drivers can't pit. It's simple as that until the entire field is bunched up, they're all together, and then they can all pit in a big group, so everyone's basically given an equal chance in the pit stops. And equally, if someone then stays out, they then automatically start at the front. So it's an IndyCar thing, and that's why we use it, because we're in IndyCar leagues. Now we see Davison faked going to the pits there, Lewis stayed out. Will anyone come into the pits here? Looks like someone is. Who will it be? It is Richardson. He has come into the pits. He's the only car of this group to come into the pit lane. What will he do here? Is he going to change his tyres? Let's have a look. No, looks like they're just sticking with what they've got. Refueling all the way up to the maximum. And he will make his way out of the pits, and he will restart in 8th place. He'll get to overtake Kyle as he pit when the pit lane was closed. And Aston Lewis is going to top up on fuel and make sure he's maximised his back of grid as he comes back into the pit lane. Again, we'll see. It's unlikely, I think, that Aston will go over to a slick tyre. Indeed, he is not. You see the pit crew there having a good look at the tyres, but not actually changing them. Got slick tyres ready, though, which is perhaps a sign of what these drivers are thinking for later in the race today. We now watch Richardson make sure he gets back up into the correct position. I'll just wait and see now. Wait until Richardson and Lewis have caught up to back. We'll give them a lap extra here. So basically, I don't think we're going to go green this time unless they do in fact manage to catch up. It's unlikely, I'd say, that they're going to manage to catch up here. Mainly Lewis in this case, but also need to make sure that Richardson gets back up into the 8th position. I see him thundering out of the tunnel there, splashing, and he does go straight back down the inside. Nicely done there. And so now it all comes down to, where is our good friend Aston Lewis? As he's in the wall, that's where he is. Coming through Lower Mirabeau there, and now through Portier. Sorry, Aston. The championship leader, currently running 10th. Not a good day for him so far today. But as we've seen throughout this race and sort of all the way through, anything happens really. it's slightly manic, and we could well see a chance for Aston Lewis to get back into the fight up front. Have another quick look at your comments. Can you give me tips for GT3? And OE Rain from Ricky. Hello, Ricky. And as Aston Lewis has crashed again, I'm glad I chose to watch this. Tips for GT3. I'll be honest with you, I don't know what track it is in Emerald tomorrow. But after the race, I'll let you know. And Ricky, with the rain, yes. Although, for those wondering, the rain is forecast to stop. And as you can see, it looks to me like the rain has maybe already stopped here. So, the track is forecast to dry up. However, of course, we know very well it doesn't mean it will. We've seen that many times in F1, where sort of it starts off wet, and then sort of we think, oh, when will they go to dries? And then the track just says no to dispersing any of the water. Evaporation simply does not happen, and it stays a little bit damp, as we now see Aston Lewis will catch up to the pack. And yeah, this weather here in Monaco very much representing, I feel like, what the UK and a lot of Europe is seeing here at the moment. As Kyle has stopped there, not sure what has happened to him. He is ahead of Aston. We'll be green this time. We'll let the drivers know. As Aston Lewis has slowed down drastically. Actually, no, the field, what's happened here? There's a bit of a break in the field here. For some reason, Sandover's dropped back a little bit. Aston Lewis still way off the pack. We're green this time. We're pretty much going to green this time no matter what. I'm not sure why these guys have lost so much time to the pack. But we'll now take our attention back up to where it belongs, here at the front of the field. It's the Dalton Autosport cars, currently running first and second. Evan Dalton leads the way ahead of Tyler Davison. Adam Liu in third place ahead of Jonathan Mills. Second of the championship is Evan Dalton. Can he take victory here today? We're just 9 laps in. We're about to start the 10th. Evan Dalton out of the fly on the corner now. Foot to the floor, and we're racing again here in Monaco. And it's a brilliant restart. Adam Liu already side by side with Davison as they head down towards turn 1. Davison late on the brakes. It could end badly. It does end badly. Both of them are down the runoff area. 2 cars off the racetrack. Both of them way down the field, and will drop to 9th and 10th. The drivers battling for second are now in 9th and 10th place. That is not what they would have wanted here, which has now allowed Mills up into 2nd place again, as his rear wing has seen better days. Then it is Evan Dalton out front, but look at that, Jonathan Mills, he's pressuring for the lead. We know Jonathan Mills, he's no bad driver when it comes to wet conditions. He's shown that in the past. Could he show that today? Could he pressure the race lead here as the rain appears to have stopped here in Monaco? The track is going to be continuously drying. It's going to be wet tyres for quite a while, I feel, as they head into the tunnel here. Surprisingly wet. We'll just ignore the fact that Project Cars 2 doesn't take into factor that the tunnel is undercover. But yes, Jonathan Mills here trying to reel in Evan Dalton, the race leader. Evan Dalton, so far, so good for him. He's looking fairly in control. Niall Karen looking for a podium in just his 2nd career start. That would be very impressive for the rookie. Currently running in that 3rd position ahead of Thomas Pierpont. One of the drivers who has had a very up and down day, started on pole, dropped to last, is back up into 4th place. Where will he go next? Who knows? He is ahead of Scott Sandover there, who then is ahead of Richardson, as Liu has just got past Richardson there. He's had some sort of problem, and if you're wondering, we are already at 2 cars for the caution. And given that both Aston and Kyle have somehow dropped behind drivers who have had issue in this one, I don't know what's happened there, but we're going to say we're 1 away from a caution on the basis that I'm not sure what happened to either of those two. So we'll say we're 1 spin or major incident away from another yellow here. But up at the front, Evan Dalton now at a 2.3 second lead. He's flying out front here, ahead of Jonathan Mills, for Jonathan Mills Racing in 2nd place. And it's Niall Karen in 3rd. The lone Pythagon Racing driver here today has got a car stopped in the pit lane, that is. Is Aston Lewis? Or no, is he stopped on the main straight? He's stopped, I'm not quite sure what's happened there to him. But that definitely counts him now, so we're definitely at 3. The question is, when will we reach for Carl Albert? He is running in the 9th position at the moment. As I said, up at the front here, we've got a tight battle for this 2nd position. And Karen definitely putting on a show here in just his 2nd career start. Doing well here for the Pythagon Racing team, pressuring a vastly experienced driver in the form of Jonathan Mills as they go through the swimming pool section, trying to just keep the pressure up here. As you look further back, got another scrap here, building between Scott Sandover and Tyler Davison. There is a wild Adam Liu, and this is going to be an exciting battle, I feel, because both Davison and Leo were the two drivers that came together on that restart and had all of that drama together. So that is certainly something that we need to keep an eye on here. But Adam Liu looking like he's vastly quicker than Sandover just ahead of him. Will he go to the inside as they head towards turn 1? Will he outbrake him? No, Sandover brakes very late. Will he make the corner? He will indeed. Good at a braking there from the Brit just ahead of Liu as they make their way up towards the top of the hill. And to the inside looks Liu. That could end in tears. Somehow it doesn't. I don't know quite how they managed it, but they did. They both make their way through. And they continue the way now as Liu down the inside of Mirabeau. Can he make that move stick? Let's look as they come back into our picture. He does. Great move there from Liu. Lovely bit of work into the hairpin. They go now, and you can see the field beginning to stretch out again up at the front as sadly it looks like Niall Cairns made a mistake. Niall Cairns dropped back into 4th place here behind Thomas Pierpont, just now released to Jonathan Mills and released some of his pressure. Oh no, Jonathan Mills! He hits the wall! He's had a big moment there. How much time has he lost? He's lost a position. Will he lose 2? It looks like he's just about going to keep going here. And has just barely survived there, and annoyingly for him and for those that want a caution, that will not bring out a caution there. Only lost, I believe, just under 3 seconds looking at his gap to Evan Dalton out front. As they make their way through here as Aston Lewis, he's into the pits again, and he's going to go a lap down. He is indeed going to go a lap down here in this race. And the championship leader is in a bit of a pickle now, as Evan Dalton driving away out front, and now we see Aston Lewis down at the back of the field. We also see Darla Davison, he's into the pits. Are they perhaps going to slicks? Let's have a look now. They go to change the tyres. Will they, is the question. Doesn't look like they are. Davison may well just have been one of the drivers that needed fuel, in which case Dalton will need it too, and indeed he will. Let's look here. Evan Dalton out the front, but with only 10 litres left. Thomas Pierpont in that second position now after Jonathan Mills' mistake. He's got 45 litres. Roughly the same for Mills, roughly the same for Karen, roughly the same for Lee, roughly the same for Sandover. A little bit less for Richardson, a little bit more for Albert, a little bit more for Davison, and a lot more for Aston Lewis, who is maybe on slick tyres. It's hard to tell now. That would suggest so, as he's straight on the chicane. This could end in tears. Will he be able to rejoin safely? We watch now in terror as he has to wait and pick the moment for the track to clear, and luckily the game has reset him actually, so that's a bit of luck as he makes his way out of the chicane. Just head. Oh, Scott Sandover around in the background. Who was that? Was that Richardson? It was. Adam Richardson has gone for a half spin, and that will count towards the caution. The caution is out here in Monaco. The caution deployed here on lap 13 of 26. We're halfway through, and the caution is out here in Monte Carlo. This could be the caution where drivers pitters. Got a couple of drivers hit in the pit lane. Did they pit before the pit lane was closed or not? I am not sure. I genuinely don't know. As we do definitely see there's some drivers changing tyres here. That's Pierpont on to the slicks. Looks like Mills actually stayed on the wet tyres there, which is curious. But Pierpont, he is definitely on slick tyres here. I'm not sure about Pierpont or Mills' stop there. Well, that was before or after the caution came out. I could actually have a quick look at the stream. Or if any of you guys fancy helping me out here trying to work out. Did they pit? No, it's hard to use the stream on the basis that the stream isn't perfectly... when I say caution, it's another few seconds after that they'll actually send the message, and another few seconds after that they receive the message. The pit lane will be closed again this time for anyone wondering. The field not quite bunched up enough just yet. We'll wait until the tyre field has made their way past. Davison currently running in the 9th position of those slick tyres on his Pennzoil Dalton Autosport car. I can't quite tell, it was straight on there, went Lewis. They look like wets, but they could be slicks. That's the fun fact of this game. We all know that the pit is open again now. And I'm going to have a quick look at the stream and try and figure out whether they pit before or after the caution came out. So this should be good fun. Bear with me for a moment. Now we saw it was the Richardson spin. And let's say by the time he got through here... it's really on the limit. I don't know. I honestly don't know. So, yeah. So my phone's had a bit of a moment there, so it's going to take a bit longer. Aston Lewis, he's making his way through the field. He's just unlapping himself here. So it'll be a slightly longer caution, if it's possible to believe, than the previous ones. Pit lane is open this time for anyone that does wish to pit. Aston Lewis just got past Dalton there. Why is he going quite so slowly? I'm not quite sure what that was for. As he makes his way through there, and he is going to have to probably stay out for another lap to make sure he doesn't get re-lapped in the pit stop. As let's see, who will stay out, who will pit in. Pit lane is open, Dalton will have to pit for fuel. Leo, surely everyone will have to pit for tyres, unless there's anyone already on the slicks, and we believe that Pierpont and Mills, and maybe even Davison, are all on these slick tyres already, so that's going to throw us back on the works. There's also Richardson stayed out as well here. So was he already on the slicks? I'm not quite sure. Either way, this has certainly mixed up the pecking order. And we'll have to review after the race whether those drivers made their pit stops before or after the caution came out. But normally I don't think there's timestamps for when PlayStation messages get sent, so I can't really confirm or deny whether that worked or not, but I probably should have just waited until everyone had passed the pit lane, but then that wouldn't have been fair because people had already passed the pit lane, some people hadn't. That just opens up another loophole of problems. Wormhole was the word I meant to say there. But yes, back to the racing, or what there is, at least. Richardson out front. He, of course, is about 57 points off the... No, he is 50... No, I was right, 57 points. No, I wasn't. It's 58 points off the lead of the championship. So a win today would be crucial for him. Thomas Pierpont, he's not running a full schedule. So he is just going out for the fun of it and trying to get some wins, maybe try and help his team in the team's championship, do what he can there. Currently head of the team's championship leaders, those being Jonathan Mills Racing at the moment. As that two top drivers in this race so far are running in 3rd and 9th. As will the field be caught up? No, because we've got Aston Lewis, who is enjoying life as he makes his way up the hill now. We'll just have to wait and see until he catches up to the back of the pack. We're still under caution. And now my PlayStation app saying 2 minutes ago. But that can't be accurate. Because by my calculations, the caution came out 5 minutes ago. Oh no, that's because that was a different message. Good job. Good job, me. Caution, 5 minutes ago it says. So if we go scroll 5 minutes ago back, but equally it could be 6 minutes and it's just over. We'll leave it. We'll sort that one out after the race, shall we? We'll let the drivers argue over it. As the field is getting close to being bunched up here. Kyle Albert, he's made his way into pit lane. Is he going to slicks? If he wasn't already, he certainly is now. As he's appears to have done his pit stop there. And he's going again. Oh, that's not an ideal pit exit. But yeah, he will... Oh, no, he's left. Sadly, that is a retirement there for Kyle Albert. He is out of the race, which now promotes his teammate Aston Lewis up into 9th place here. Aston Lewis still trying to make his way on to the back of the pack. The noise of those cars going through the tunnel, quite emotive, as they make their way down into the Nouvelle chicane here. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. in the comments whilst we're under this caution. We should be green next time, hopefully. Yes, we can just hope. That's all we can really do at the moment. A little bit wide there from Richardson under caution. That's not ideal for him, but it won't matter. It's under caution. He's fine. But yeah, currently it's quite the mixed day so far. Who knows how many laps we're going to have left. As Aston Lewis, is he retired from the race? I believe Aston Lewis may well have just retired from the race. It looks like his car's in pit lane now. So that means that's guaranteed. Championship leader Aston Lewis will finish, will get points for 9th place today. Are we going to see yet another championship lead in what has already been a crazy season? Another twist is, well, another turn has been taken. We will be green this time then. Let's get ready to go back racing. There'll be 8 laps left in the race. We'll let the drivers know. Green this time. Adam Richardson will lead the field ahead of Thomas Pierpont and Jonathan Mills. Then comes Tyler Davison. Evan Dalton, the leader before the caution. He has a recovery job ahead of him now. Second in the championship. The other driver equal second, currently running 8th here in this race. Aston Lewis has now fully disconnected, so confirmation there that he has indeed retired from this one completely. The other championship contenders. Are running in 1st and in 5th. So they're 1st, 5th, 6th, 8th at the moment for the 4 that are still in the race, and 9th if you count Aston. So yeah, it's looking like today could certainly mix things up in the championship fight, but we are now making our way through the fun sector of the lap and getting ready to go back to racing. Adam Richardson makes his way through the final corners now. And out on to the main straight. When will he put his foot down? He goes. Now we're back racing here in the FunnyF1 Grand Prix de Monaco. It's a good launch from Jonathan Mills in that battle for 2nd place just behind. Will they all make it through the first corner? It looks like they have. Mills looking for 2nd place. They're side by side up by Rouffard. And towards Massenet they go. Can Jonathan Mills make the move? He does. A brilliant overtake there. Jonathan Mills is up into 2nd place in this race ahead of Thomas Pierpont. Davison remains in 4th. Dalton in 5th ahead of Adam Liu. Karen putting the pressure on him as they brake heavily in to Mirabeau. And now towards the hairpin they go. Richardson leads ahead of Mills. Then it's Pierpont as they all make their way through the hairpin. Now out of Portier and into the tunnel we go. It is Adam Richardson out front, looking to close in to the championship lead. He leads the way ahead of Jonathan Mills and Thomas Pierpont. They break into the chicane now. Out they come again through this wet patch. This is where it's always that's Davison straight on the chicane. He's going to lose some time there and potentially get a slowdown penalty. But now we're going through the trickiest part of the racetrack. This is the tough part to do. It is still very, very damp. You can see the water coming off the wheels. It's still a very wet part of the racetrack now. Even whilst most of the track is quicker on dry tyres. And overall, the lap times will be quicker on dries. That part of the racetrack is very much still wet. So we're going to see some drama through there, I'm sure. But Richardson pulls away out front there as Davison. Looks like he might be letting his teammate through in the background. As Davison let Dalton through, he has. Teammates working together as they head towards turn 1. Now going to have to defend from Liu. Looking to try and make a move here. Liu, side by side, they head towards Beaurivage. They're side by side up the hill. And now they head towards Massenet. They're still side by side. Liu, contact. Davison slides into the wall. Liu's in the wall. Karen's up a position. But Davison back down the inside. They're bagging wheels as they go through Casino Square. And now down towards Mirabeau. Davison holds on. Liu, well, that was dramatic. Up into 5th position. Davison did all he could on that inside line, but he washed a little bit wide and had a little bit of contact, but luckily for the pair of them, they both kept going in roughly the right direction. So we now look back to the battle for 2nd place. Mills and Pierpont. As they slide through the chicane, Mills a little bit deep. That might impede his exit. He taps the wall as well. That's going to give a great chance to Pierpont. He gets the move done. Pierpont's up into 2nd place. But now we get into the treacherous part of the racetrack. What can Pierpont do through here? He's making his way through the tricky swimming pool section, aptly named for these conditions, I think it's fair to say. He now heads into Rascasse ahead of Mills, and Pierpont looks like he's got that position fairly comfortable now ahead of Mills. Can he pull away, and can he reel in the race lead? It's not to be easy now, as Mills will have to look in his mirrors. As second in the championship, Evan Dalton will now be looking to try and make some moves. He's got Adam Lee right behind him, though, the winner last time out, looking to try and get another strong result here and close up in the championship fight. No matter what happens today, the championship fight's going to close up. That's the good news for those that are looking forward to it, but boy oh boy, what a season we have in store. And we're not even halfway yet. You may well tell I'm quite excited for what this season has in store for us. But now, Adam Richardson pulling away out front, 3.8 seconds clear of the field. Evan Dalton looking to try and close in for that third position. Could well be a crucial podium here. Jonathan Mills, he wants to hold on. He is 6th in the championship at the moment. Only 7 points behind Adam Richardson. Oh, but a big crash! Mills is around! And I have to say that's quite possibly a case of the commentator's curse there, as he now drives into the wall as he rejoins the track. And Mills from 3rd to 8th. That is painful there. Painful to see Mills having such a good run now. Down at the back of the field, Dalton up into 3rd position, ahead of Adam Liu. These two now going to scrap over the final position on the podium. You know, Monaco's hard to overtake on. Davison just behind the pair of them. He's looking to always have that contact in the final corner. Big crash, big melee in the final corner. And we've got a car upside down. Niall Cameron's upside down in the final corner. That's 3 cars caught up here, and we are at 3 cars as Scott has tried to help Karen get on his wheels, and we are now at 3 cars, 1 away from a caution. Bottom 3 all involved in incidents there, so that means the top 5 are well clear of the field. Pierpont running in that 2nd place. Can he reel into the race lead? Let's have a look. What are the lap times that everyone is setting currently? If we look at the previous lap around, Richardson with a 20.8. Nobody else in the 20s. We've got 21.5 for Pierpont, 21.1 for Dalton, 21.5 again for Liu, and a 22.8 for Davison. So it very much seems like that maybe Dalton's the only one out of place at the moment. But that's entirely based on the previous lap, which we've clearly seen so far in this race that one lap does not explain the entirety of today's race, as we see Dalton having to be careful here, especially through this tricky part of the racetrack. You know, as Adam Liu. Oh, with Liu straight on! That'll surely be a slowdown for him. The Phoenix Motorsports driver straight on through there, and somehow may well have got away with that one. Surely he'll have to lift off the throttle just a little bit, but he seems to have got away with it quite nicely. A mistake there for Liu, and it's helped him out. So he went straight across the second part of the swimming pool section. Liu trying to put pressure on. He's quite... Oh, there's contact! Liu now, he's going to have a chance to head up through Beau Rivage. Looks like he's backed out of it, though. As they now head up towards Massenet and then Casino Square. They turn left through Massenet and right into Casino Square. For now, at least, Dalton holds on to that 3rd position, but Liu is piling on the pressure here. Liu really needs to beat Dalton in this race. He is substantially behind in the championship fight, so he's going to have some work to do if he wants to catch back up. Putting the pressure on, as I said, but one thing putting the pressure on, he's got to hope that that sort of pressure works, whether it be through mistake or just by raw speed. He used to hope it all works for him and he gets a chance to get into that 3rd position here as they go through the Nouvelle Chicane. As I believe we may have a car spun up through the top of the hill. It is indeed Scott Sandover. And there's a car that has already been gutted, otherwise he spins again. Sandover not having the day he would have wanted to have here in Monaco, as he does another spin as well, just for good luck. Davison, he's currently running in the 5th position. Just ahead of him he has Liu and Dalton. Davison, I think if I'm in that position, I'm very much not losing hope of a podium here. These two are going to be racing hard for that podium, given the championship implications that it would hold for both of them. I've got a feeling this could be a scrappy one, but just 3 laps remain here in today's race. I'm very sorry about that. Excuse me. But now, up at the front of the field, Richardson continuing to dominate here. 6 seconds is his lead. Catching up to the lap car of Sandover. Pierpont just behind there. I say just behind. Way behind, really, is the only way of phrasing it, as that we see What a battle we've got for third place here, folks. Liu really piling the pressure on. It won't be long until he's quite literally piling on top of Dalton, I feel, as they head into some of those tighter, slower speed parts of the racetrack. The speed they take through the tunnel, 150 miles per hour, 160 miles per hour over that as they break into the chicane. Oh, there's contact! I predicted it as they came out of Portier. Liu is really piling the pressure on Dalton here. Dalton cannot make a mistake, but there. Liu with a small mistake through to back. That's going to give Dalton the chance to get a bit more comfortable. He can push through here. As a new fastest lap of the race goes to Adam Richardson out front. Look at these two battling hard for a podium position. It may not look like it, but trust me, they are. As Davison's had a problem. Davison's had a spin, and the caution is going to come out again here. Something has gone wrong for Davison, but it's too late, so ignore me. We're too late in the race, so we can't have a caution. Got overexcited there, apologies. But Davison does now feel the pressure, as we now just have 2 laps left in this race. Pierpont trying to reel in the race leader. Dalton still holding on to that third position. I think this is a battle that we're going to have to keep an eye on. Leo looks a little bit further back this time around, but just see the gap so close as they go through these slow speed corners. But he's going to have to close in just a little bit more if he wants a chance to make the move. Oh, that's a mistake from Dalton. That could be a crucial error as they head down one of the longest straights of this racetrack, and it's a curve the entire way through, realistically. Leo looking for the move. He's too far back, surely, as they break hard into the chicane. Dalton's deep. That could give Leo a chance, but Leo with a bit of a slide as well. These two, this could be a battle all the way until the flag here. They make their way through to back now. Both of them pretty cleanly through there, and now they're going to go through the slightly damper part of the racetrack, and by damp I mean very much wet, as they now go through the second part of the swimming section, but straight on is Liu. He completely across the corner, he can't make that overtake. That would obviously not have been a legal move at all, fully off the racetrack there. But Liu, that just shows how hard he's pushing here. In the late stage of this race, white flags in the air, 1 lap remains here in the FunnyF1 Grand Prix de Monaco. They race through the first corner now. Liu, bit wide there. That's going to give Dalton some breathing space as they head up through Beau Rivage and then Massenet. It's up at the front. We've got traffic here for the race leader. Scott Sandover is holding up the race leader. And perhaps unsurprisingly so, we have no blue flags in IndyCar. And it's Sandover's teammate in second place, trying to gain out of this. Sandover on the final lap of the race, throwing a spanner in the works for Richardson's day. What is going to happen here? We've got lap cars in the way of the race leader. And by lap cars, I mean lap car. But here, drama on the final lap. A lap car in front of the leader. He has no reason to get out of the way realistically. He has no true forced penalty for not getting out of the way. It's purely anti-racing, and admittedly he doesn't have much to gain from it. But he's going to give it a good old go here, as he's continuing to stay ahead and bring that gap down significantly between the top 2 drivers in this race. Oh, Sandover's in the wall! That's Richardson into the back of him. That's going to give Pierpont a chance to close up even more. Drama here. A lap car having huge implications for this race as they head through the final corner now. Sandover, despite having a bit of blocking attempts here on Richardson, it is going to be Adam Richardson who wins his second race of the season. He wins the FunnyF1 Grand Prix de Monaco. Thomas Pierpont will take second place. Third place, who will it be? It's Evan Dalton, second in the championship. He takes third place, the final step on the podium today. Adam Liu, he just misses out. Then it is Tyler Davison in 5th position, just ahead of Jonathan Mills in 6th. Then comes Niall Caron, who will take 7th place. And, well, in a league of his own, Scott Sandover, as he's being hunted down by his teammate, who has already finished. Sandover. Will he make the flag? He could do it. I reckon he can. Yeah, Sandover will probably finish this race, and fair play to him. That's what he gained from fighting in that final lap. He gained the ability to finish on the lead lap. I'll be honest with you, it provides no benefit. There's no real reason other than perhaps bragging rights, but admittedly, he also helps his team out quite a lot. I imagine that Sandover has had a conversation with his teammate and gone, hey, we're in quite a good spot here where we can perhaps close the gap at the front. You know what? In fairness to him, if there's a penalty, and I've no reason to believe there will be, but if there has been anything that's always Sandover's spun, if there is a penalty that ends up going to Richardson in this race, as is Pierpont going to lap his teammate, or it's going to get close here? I mean, Pierpont has already finished, so it wouldn't count, but still, Sandover comes out the final corner. Sandover will take 8th position with 12 seconds to spare. But yeah, I mean, if Richardson has had an incident that we've missed or that I've forgotten about, which is, let's be honest, quite possible, if that has happened, and that sort of defending for his teammate that Sandover did whilst trying to stay on the lead lap, that could have made a big difference, because that might have closed in the gap to the size at which a penalty, which may not have made a difference before, will now make a difference. I mean, the smallest time penalty you can give is a 5-second penalty. That would now knock Richardson behind Pierre. I don't know if it would have before. I'm not 100% sure. But I mean, if that was if that was something that was happening and something in the back of their mind, then well played to them, in fairness. Admittedly, the crashing in front of Richardson, that's uncalled for, and it's certainly not the most sporting thing to do, but at the end of the day, it's not illegal, and that sort of sums up racing drivers. I think they find the limit of what is perhaps not ethically very correct, but is technically legal, and I think it should stay that way. I don't think blue flag should be a thing. Admittedly, I don't think this sort of, like, it'd be very unfortunate if a crash had cost Richardson that win, and I think that would have been very wrong, and I think he would have had Richardson would have had a very fair reason to be very angry at Sandover if that happened. But at the same time, I personally, and this is very unrelated, really. Not unrelated, it just happened, but personally, I'm not someone that's especially a big fan of blue flags on the basis that if there's no blue flags, who does the leader have to overtake? And overtaking is a part of it, you know? So yeah, that's just my 2 cents. I think that's a phrase. Thank you everyone for watching here today. The FunnyF1 Grand Prix de Monaco. Do make sure to go over onto Instagram and give FunnyF1 a follow and join their amazing community of fans there, of course, of Formula 1 for some very funny motorsport content. But yes, that is it for today's race. I hope you enjoyed it. For Monaco, I can certainly say I enjoyed that one. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.